Morning. It's good to be with you again this morning. Building on the four pillars of a healthy Christian business leader. And again, the four pillars are healthy relationships, biblical financial values, biblical spirituality, and balanced living. This week, we've been focused on pillar number 4, and our primary focus this week has been on resting without guilt. On Monday, we talked about the day God rested. Tuesday, what is the Sabbath? Then what is rest? And then yesterday we talked about when the day of rest becomes a burden. And then today I just want to talk about why rest. Why? What's the purpose? And so as I was thinking about that, I went online and I found this interesting article on why to rest. And I'll post the link to the article underneath my video once I post it after the live, so you can check it out for yourself if you'd like. And the article is simply called "A Day of Rest: 12 Scientific Reasons It Works." And in the article, they start off by saying most major religions call for a day of rest, and then science agrees. Isn't that great when science actually agrees with us? I always find it interesting that, we're living in a world today that's so focused on science, and yet so oftentimes when science finally comes to understand something, it's like, yeah, but the Bible has already been teaching that for well over 2,000 years. And so, the day of rest has been something that has been taught in the scriptures for over 4,000 years. Anyways, here are 12 scientific reasons a regular rest or regular time of rest every week, whenever you choose to make it happen, really works. And the first 6 deal with physical realities for your body, for our body. And so here are the first 6. Physical transformation that happens because you take a regular time of rest. Time out reduces stress. Now, again, I want to state here very quickly that I am not a scientist and I am not in the medical field. And so you'll have to read this article for yourself and figure out whether or not this is scientific the way they're presenting it or not. But I thought this was interesting. So again, the first one, time out reduces stress. Time out gives you a chance to move. Now, under that one, they were saying basically, if you're in a job where you're either sitting all day at a desk or you're standing at a machine, the timeout gives you an opportunity to kind of move around and get blood flowing again. So it's good. And then completely divesting from your work on a regular basis reduces inflammation and the risk of heart disease. Getting away from work boosts your immune system. Speaking of sleep, you'll do it better during your time out of work or time off of work. And your activity time off adds years to your life. So you've got time away from work so you can go out and maybe snowshoe or go cross-country skiing or go for a walk or whatever it is that you do, that will add years to your life. So that's the physical side of it, scientific. And then mental and emotional. So the mental and emotional transformation that takes place when we take time away from work. Well, taking regular time away from work restores mental energy. When you take time out for yourself, you're more creative. And personally, I have to admit that I experienced that. If I can take some time away, that the creative juices just kind of flow. You're also more productive when you take time away from work or time out of work. And you'll focus better at work if you take a weekly rejuvenation time. So this idea of, I'm just going to work 7 days a week. Now, if you take time away, it actually makes work better. And then your day off improves short-term memory as well. And then the final one that they put in is simply this. With regular time away from work, you might even love your job again. And so oftentimes people will say, I hate my job. I just can't stand it. And really what it is they're just not able, they haven't had opportunity to just get away and get a break. And so it just becomes a drain on them. And so I thought that was interesting. So again, why rest? Well, 12 scientific reasons to rest. Then, as we've talked about throughout this week, because the God of the universe rested. And so if the God of the universe rested, certainly that is a great example for us and for our potential need to rest. Because God prescribed it to Israel as a nation. And so although we don't fall under the Sabbath day laws like Israel did, and it was a covenant between God and Israel, nevertheless, the idea of a day of rest is still a good thing. And again, we talked about not making it a burdensome thing, and that's true, and we don't want it to be a burdensome thing. But if we can take time away, it's a good thing. And God prescribed it for Israel because it was a good thing. Because Jesus, in his humanity, took time to rest. I mean, if you read through the Gospels, the amount of times that Jesus pulled himself away so that he could go and be by himself. Now, I mean, again, if you have a family, you have children, you might not be, quote unquote, by yourself in that sense, but away from work, away from the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Jesus certainly demonstrated that in his life. And then because it does the body good. It does the body good. It does the body good physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so these are all good reasons why we should take time to rest. So today, as you go about your day, I just want to encourage you to take time to step away and rest. We've talked about that throughout this week. Take time. Maybe it's just a minute here or 5 minutes there, and just to get up from your desk and to maybe just walk around the office for a few minutes, or just go outside if the weather's decent and just take in some good fresh air and just take a little bit of time to rest. And then, of course, as we conclude, may we learn to rest and not feel guilty. The whole purpose of this series this week was that we would learn to rest and not feel guilty. We live in a world, especially here in the West, that just puts so much demand on us. And we can get so caught up in that. And I just want to encourage you to not allow the rat race to run your life. And then on that note, I'd love to invite you to join me on Monday, this coming Monday, March the 1st, at 12 noon, for a 6-week, what I've called the Master's Class. So the Master is Jesus, and together we learn from him. And so I'm going to be offering 4 different ones under each pillar this year. And the first one is going to be under the pillar, again, healthy relationships. And the focus for the 6 weeks is going to be family and business balance. That's going to be the focus. And what I'm going to be doing with that is I'm going to be teaching and then giving opportunity for conversation between the business leaders that are there. And we'll be recording that and making that available. And so I just want to encourage you to join me for that. You can do that again just by just emailing me under register.pro.169consulting@gmail.com, and I'll post that again today. And I'd love to have you join me for that. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.